Clint Capela's name has been buzzing around Lakers talk nonstop this offseason, and honestly, it looks like that's not going anywhere anytime soon. The Lakers seem dead set on bringing him in, or at least keeping him as a strong option at the center position heading into the next season, while they're still holding out hope for some blockbuster trade that could land them a clear-cut starting center. Capela is sitting right at the top of their wish list when it comes to free agent big men. He just turned 31, which means he's still got a good chunk of prime basketball years left. And even though he's not quite the dominant force he once was back in Houston, he still brings a lot to the table. The situation in Atlanta really shaped where Capela is now. The Hawks decided to take a different direction, shifting towards youth and potential rather than sticking with veterans like him. They brought in young guys like Dyson Daniels, and Kage started to emerge as a reliable presence. The Hawks basically made a call to embrace their younger centers and develop them, instead of holding onto Capela. That's why they were trying to trade him at the deadline last season. They knew their future was in the youth movement, so, in a way, Capela became a casualty of circumstance, caught in the middle of a rebuilding process that just didn't have room for him. That doesn't mean Clint Capela has lost his value. He's no longer that Houston version who dominated with explosive athleticism and relentless rebounding, but he's still a very effective center. If the Lakers can bring him in as a backup, that could be a huge win. Capela still posts double-doubles regularly. He's one of the best offensive rebounders in the league, and his skill set fits perfectly with a star like Luka Doncic, who can find him with lobs and quick passes. The chemistry there would be real. I think he could be one of the best backup centers in the NBA just because of his experience and his specific skill set. Now, the Lakers might also consider giving him a starting role for a season or so. That would be a bit of a stopgap move while they figure out their longer-term plan for the center spot. They could pair Capela with a younger, developing big man like Jericho Sims, or even bring in a veteran presence like Brook Lopez. Lopez has championship experience, big game experience, and can knock down free throws, something Capela struggles with. The Lakers reportedly want a veteran backup center, which makes perfect sense. Having a guy who's been through playoff battles and knows how to handle pressure in crunch time is invaluable. When you're down by a point in Game 7 with a minute left, you want the guy who's seen it all on the court, not a rookie trying to find his footing. There's also room for younger centers on the roster, even if Jackson Hayes leaves. The Lakers have Christian Wood, Trey Jameson, and others in development. They could trade for a young center like Nick Claxton to start, and then bring in Capela or Lopez as the backup to provide that veteran stability. It's about balancing youth and experience, but of course, it all comes down to what it would cost to get these players. If the Lakers have to give up too much, say, their full mid-level exception or a key player, it might not be worth it. In that case, signing someone like Jericho Sims on a veteran minimum contract might be the smarter, more economical move. There's always the hope that the Lakers can snag a younger franchise-type center like Walker Kessler, who's been on many people's radars. I'm a big fan of Kessler, but realistically, it might be tough for the Lakers to get him without giving up a lot. Same with Jalen Duren. Detroit has decisions to make, and if they want to keep a floor spacing big, Duren might become available. But the cost to acquire those young talents could be high, and the Lakers need to be careful not to mortgage their future for one player. On the flip side, if the Lakers have to overpay for someone like Daniel Gafford, it might be better to hold onto their assets and just bring in Capela and Lopez on reasonable deals. Then they can focus on improving other areas like perimeter shooting and defense, which are bigger needs. Capela, with his size and skill set, fits the mold of what the Lakers need: a strong, physical presence in the paint who can protect the rim, grab rebounds, run the floor, and finish lobs. He might not be the same player from his Houston days, but for a stopgap year, that's perfectly fine. If the Lakers can bring Capela in at a decent price and pair him with a young center to develop behind him, they'd have a nice balance. Plus, if they add a defensive specialist or two on the wings, the Lakers could shape up to be a very tough defensive team. Last season, with Jackson Hayes starting, the Lakers showed glimpses of solid interior defense. Adding Capela as a starter, along with perimeter defenders, could make them even better. Personally, I'd like to see Capela in the backup role behind someone like Walker Kessler or even Nick Claxton. If they manage to trade for him, Claxton is lighter and more mobile, around 115 pounds, whereas Capela brings more bulk at around 145 pounds. That size difference matters in playoff battles against teams like Denver, where you want that physical edge in the paint. Claxton could be the pesky defender who pressures the opponent, while Capela wears down the opposition physically and crashes the boards relentlessly. The development center, whether it's Christian Wood or Trey Jameson, could get minutes and grow into a future role, looking at what Capela brings statistically. Even though he played fewer games last season due to Atlanta's direction, he still averaged nearly 10 rebounds per game in just over 20 minutes. He grabbed about 3 offensive rebounds per game, which is huge for second-chance opportunities. His shooting is mostly two-point attempts, around 56% from the field, showing he's a lob threat rather than a shooter from outside. The downside remains his free throw shooting, hovering around 53%, which makes him vulnerable to being hacked late in games. That's why having a reliable free throw shooter like Brook Lopez backing him up is smart. So you can switch if teams go to that strategy. If you look at Capela's per 36-minute stats, he's a 15-point, 14-rebound double-double machine, with solid defensive numbers like the blocks and a steal per game. He's done that kind of production before, especially in his early years with Atlanta. So it's not unrealistic to expect him to put up strong numbers if given starter minutes. But realistically, even in 25 minutes, he should be a dependable double-double guy, 10 points, 10 rebounds for offensive boards, which, combined with a playmaker like Luka Doncic, can boost his scoring and impact. Ultimately, the question is whether Capela fits the Lakers' vision for their center spot and what price they're willing to pay. If they can bring him in affordably as a physical, rebounding, defensive center who complements their stars and fits their roster construction, it could be a very smart move. The fear is that the Lakers sign Capela and Lopez and then just settle, thinking they've solved the center position without pushing to improve elsewhere. The Lakers have needs beyond just the 5 spot, especially on the perimeter and in playmaking. But as a foundation piece in the middle, Capela offers exactly what the Lakers have lacked: size, strength, rim protection, and toughness. Whether as a starter or backup, he's a player who can impact the game in crucial ways. Now it's about seeing how the Lakers manage their assets, their cap space, and their long-term plans to assemble a team capable of contending again. The center position is just one piece of the puzzle, but getting it right could make all the difference when the playoffs roll around. Now, diving deeper into what Clint Capela really means for the Lakers, it's important to understand the nuances of his game beyond just the numbers. He's the kind of player who doesn't always show up in highlight reels, because his impact is often subtle but vital. His presence on the floor changes how opponents attack the basket. He's a physical rim protector who can alter shots without necessarily getting the block, and that kind of intimidation can make a huge difference in close games. For a team like the Lakers, who have stars that command a lot of defensive attention, having a center who can clean up the paint and control the glass is invaluable. Capela's offensive game is straightforward but effective. He's a lob threat and a finisher around the rim. He doesn't shoot threes or stretch the floor, so he's not going to open up the offense the way a modern big man like Bam Adebayo or Jared Vanderbilt might. But that's okay because the Lakers don't need him to be a shooter. Instead, his role is to finish the plays that others create, catch alley-oops, grab offensive rebounds, and get putbacks. When you have a player like Luka Doncic, who's a wizard at creating plays, Capela's ability to run the floor and be in the right spot makes him a perfect fit. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on. Whispers are growing loud around the NBA landscape as speculation swirls about a potential new chapter for the Los Angeles Lakers. The name on everyone's lips, Sam Cassell, known for his sharp basketball mind and deep experience both on the court and on the sidelines. Cassell is being talked about as a possible new head coach for the Lakers, a move that could shake up the league and bring fresh energy to the storied franchise. Sam Cassell's coaching journey has been marked by steady progression and a reputation for player development. After a successful playing career, Cassell transitioned into coaching, proving his worth as an assistant in multiple NBA teams. His ability to connect with players and understand the intricacies of the game has made him a respected figure in coaching circles. Rumors suggest the Lakers front office has been quietly exploring options to replace their current leadership, aiming for a coach who can both manage star talent and develop the younger roster pieces. Cassell fits that profile perfectly. Fans and analysts alike are buzzing about what Cassell's potential appointment might mean for the Lakers. Known for his strategic approach and emphasis on teamwork, Cassell could bring a different style to Los Angeles, perhaps emphasizing a faster, more dynamic offense. Given the Lakers' recent struggles with consistency, the thought of a fresh coaching perspective is tantalizing. The rumor mill also points to Cassell's strong reputation for fostering winning mindsets and accountability qualities the Lakers desperately seek as they attempt to reclaim their championship pedigree, of course. Nothing is confirmed yet. Sources close to the Lakers organization remain tight-lipped, fueling more speculation rather than quelling it. The timing of this possible coaching change is intriguing, as the NBA offseason looms and the Lakers look to restructure their roster around key stars. Cassell's name emerging as a candidate signals the team's seriousness about a new direction. Will the Lakers gamble on this relatively young coach to lead them back to glory? Or is this just one of many rumors floating in a hot NBA offseason? If Cassell does take the helm, it could mark a new era for the Lakers, one filled with hope, strategy, and a renewed hunger for success. But until official announcements are made, fans will have to keep watching, waiting, and wondering if Sam Cassell is indeed the man who will coach one of the NBA's most iconic franchises next season. The buzz is real, the possibilities endless, and the Lakers' future could be on the brink of a thrilling transformation. Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also, share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.